Wow, hold on a second. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, I cannot see. Hello, everyone. My OCD is kicking in, meaning, is this aligned? Is my screen aligned? Hi, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Can you let me know if the sound is good and you can hear me? I just want to make sure. Everything looks really blurry to me right now. I have no idea why. It's really annoying. Oh, well. It is what it is. Hi. I think I'm going to turn. Let me see something. Give me 1 second, you guys. My light just broke. Well, it's back. It didn't break. Hi, hello, hello, hello. So excited for this live. We're doing a giveaway. Just cleaning my glasses. I cannot see today. This is the weirdest thing. Okay, just be done with this. All right. So happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for joining live. So let me just quickly go over what we are doing here today. How are you guys also, and where are you from? Israel, the Netherlands, Ontario, Slovenia, Northern Ireland. I'll be in Ireland March 16th for an event. So I'm really excited. If you're in Ireland, hopefully I'll be able to see you live. Michigan, Oregon, Germany, Daytona Beach, New Hampshire, Sweden, all over the world. Utah, love Utah. Australia, Edinburgh, Oregon, Hawaii, Denmark. I am going to go to the Netherlands in March as well. So I'll be doing a live event in the Netherlands, live event in Ireland, and a live event in London. Really excited to do that and to connect with all of you guys on that side of the water. Yes, Ecuador. Hello, Ecuador. Hi, Israel. All right. What are we doing here today? So many of you submitted your name. So if I am doing a giveaway for 2 free 60-minute sessions. The way that you are part of the giveaway is that you emailed me your Amazon review for the Divine Design. You screenshotted it and emailed it to me. And if you did that, hundreds of you did, I got all your names here, and I'm going to choose 2 people. If your name is chosen, you will get an email from me with the details on how to schedule your 60-minute session. So I'm really excited to see who the 2 people are. Before we choose the 2 names, I do want to say 2 things. One, first of all, 3 things. 1, if you're listening to this live or on the replay, thank you so, so much from the deepest core of my being for all of your support around the Divine Design. It has exceeded my expectations, and I can feel the ripple effect of this book just spreading slowly, but spreading all over the world. So thank you for the support. Thank you for reaching out to me and sending me your messages, your photos, your videos, all of it, the experiences that you have been having with this book. So many people are having really powerful experiences. And it makes me remember why I forced myself to keep going, because I was telling my mom last night, we were having dinner, and I said, this book is designed to have this really subtle but intentional awakening. So it's almost like you may not even understand some of the things that are in the book, but there's this very subtle awakening that happens, a deeper awakening through a remembrance within your DNA. And once you start to remember things that you forgot about the history of our planet, you can't forget. So your life just starts to change in very subtle ways. It's not something that you try to do. It's not like you're trying to heal or you're trying to wake up or you're trying to deprogram yourself, or there's no trying in this deep but subtle activation and remembrance that happens in when you start to read the book. So it's just it's been very surreal to watch all of you guys send me your experiences. And if you're starting the book, if you finish the book, I would love to hear how it was for you. I really, really would. So please email me. All right. Two, I have decided to do a live YouTube series starting tomorrow for 7 days. So tomorrow, Monday the 29th at 2 p.m. California time, I'm going to be going live on YouTube to answer your questions about the divine design and to read a section of the divine design. And we're going to kind of go through the book, starting with how did we get here? That's day one. So again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend subscribing to it and then hitting the notification button. That way you'll get notified the moment I go live and you won't miss any of the 7 days. Bring your questions and I'll be answering them live. 7 days starting tomorrow, the 29th, 2 p.m. California time. And the last thing before we pick the two names, the last thing is that many of you have had a difficult time receiving the hardcover of the book. You pre-ordered it and it's taking a very long time. We've reached out to the publishers, to Amazon, and there's no reason that it is taking so long for some of you. I don't know what it is. I've never seen this before. Perhaps it's energies that are working against getting the divine design out. I don't know. But if you order the paperback, you'll get it within 2 to 3 days. So you can always go in and order the paperback and it will come pretty quickly wherever you are in the world. On my website, there's all kinds of links for international purchasing. So wherever you are in the world, you can get it. There's also the ebook that you can purchase, and then the audio of the book will be available in October. So I'm going to be recording it in Sedona in September, and it will be available in October. The audio is going to be insane. It's going to be so powerful. I'm really, really excited to get that out to you guys. And highly recommend getting the audio, whether you've purchased the hardcover or the paperback or not, or the ebook. Yeah. So there we go. So let's pick the two names, just get into it. And then after I pick the two names, I'm going to read just a tiny section from the divine design around our physical evolution and what the book brought through around what we're currently going through, stepping into more of this multidimensionality. And then I'll answer a couple of your questions. So we'll stay on for about 20 minutes. I'll answer a couple questions about the divine design if you have them. And yeah, I'll read a little section. So let's go. So many of you guys submitted your reviews to Amazon. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know a lot of them have been held for review. Again, I don't know what's going on. But even if yours was still being held for review, your name was put in here. Okay. The paperback is available. It should be available. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Nobles. It's in Walmart or on Walmart site, Target site. I forgot a couple of the sites like in the Netherlands or Europe or something. I think it's called Book something or other. It's there. So it's there. It's available. Okay, let's go. The first individual to receive a 60-minute live Obviously, it's live. How could I do a session with you if it wasn't live? That would be very weird. All right, the first person is, oh, and if I pick your name, I will be emailing you with all the details. Okay, so Gita Lalazari. Gita Lalazari. You are one of the individuals that will be getting a 60-minute session from me. Book depository, I think that's it, yeah. The second person, let's go. Oh, this is it. This is the one. Okay, Tasha McPhee. Tasha McPhee. So Gita Lalazari and Tasha McPhee. You guys are going to be receiving a 60-minute session. There we go. Yay. Let's pick one more. Like I have time for to do all these sessions, but let's pick one more person. One more. We're doing 3 60-minute sessions. Let's do one more. Okay. I wish I could give you guys all 60-minute sessions, but that's impossible. Okay, one more person. Who's it going to be? Okay. Here it is. Dun. Debbie Perlman Ajluni. Completely butchered that. Debbie Perlman Ajluni. Okay. I'm going to put that bowl away. Otherwise, I'll keep pulling names. So we have Gita Lalazori, Tasha McPhee, and Debbie Perlman Ajluni. You guys are going to be receiving an email from us with all the details to schedule your 60-minute session. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for submitting your reviews and for supporting the book. Let's do a little read. Let's read a little bit before we do a Q&A. Okay, so if you have your book, you can read along with me. I'm going to be starting on chapter 17, page 217 in the hardcover, the physical evolution. Okay? Let's do this. The harmonic convergence was the catalyst for humanity to finally begin their physical evolution. The human body would begin to anchor into higher dimensional fields. When a body is anchored into a dimensional field, the consciousness within that field dictates their reality. The process of anchoring into the next dimensional field requires the body to acclimate, assimilate, and then anchor the light tethering the body. It takes linear time to anchor a human form into a higher dimensional field. The human body initially acclimates or holds the high frequency light moving into the body. The body then begins to assimilate or absorb that high frequency light into all physical aspects of the body. Eventually, the body holds most of the light that is required to anchor into the next dimensional field. So this is what's happening to all of us right now. All of us. Every single one of our physical bodies. It's just a matter of, are you conscious? Are you aware? Are you participating? Right? To anchor into another dimensional field, 80% of the light held in the human body must be at the frequency of that dimensional field. For instance, if a human body is holding 60% 3D frequencies, 30% 4D frequencies and 10% 5D frequencies, the body's anchored in the 3D. However, because the body is also holding 4D and 5D frequencies, it can access states of consciousness within those two other dimensional fields. Do you guys get this? Are you getting it? The human body must clear out all lower frequencies or densities in the body in order to anchor into the next dimensional field. This is simply what we're doing right now when we feel everything, when our trauma comes up, when the triggers are showing us what we need to feel, right? This is why feeling is so important, because energy is felt. It's not thought. You can't think an energy through you. You can't think an emotion through you. Trauma is one of the largest densities stored in the body. Trauma is created through an external experience or event, and all external experiences create energies, allowing the human to understand the event. The energies are filtered through the human as emotions, thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. If a human encounters an experience that creates energies filtered into the body that do not feel good, the human will suppress the energies. The emotions, thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors created from the event will not be felt through the body in their entirety. The energies will store in the body as lower frequencies or density. The trauma is the density held in the body. It's that simple. It's that simple. There isn't a right or wrong. It's not bad that you have trauma. It's not bad that you have these limiting thoughts and beliefs. There's nothing bad about you. This is the natural experience of being human in an energetic world where you experience things that you don't like, that don't feel good. And so we're all learning how to feel things through a lens of neutrality so that we can release it out of our bodies. That's evolution. The more trauma a human experiences and stores in the body, the more density held within the body. Through the process of acclimation, assimilation, and anchoring of light in the body, the density or trauma begins to clear out, allowing the human form to hold more light and to anchor into the next highest dimensional field. Trauma is released when high frequency light passes through the human body and pulls the consciousnesses held within the trauma into the human's awareness. A human must be conscious of the trauma for it to clear the body. You can imagine the trauma as a heavy block of mud and the light as water. As the light, water, moves into the body, it hits the block of mud, the trauma, and begins to break it up. The mud begins to move through the human body, allowing the human to feel the trauma that had been locked or stored within the mud. When the light hits the density, it breaks up the trauma, and the human has the opportunity to feel the emotions and become aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors associated with the trauma. The only way a human can anchor into higher dimensional fields is by consciously and courageously choosing to release the trauma that is holding the density. And a human can release the trauma by simply choosing to feel without attachment or judgment the emotions connected to the trauma. They must also choose to acknowledge the thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors connected to the trauma without attachment or judgment, and then choose new thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. It goes on. And this is chapter, what did I say this was? 17, the physical evolution. This is what's happening with us. And this is why I always say that we are not in charge of moving ourselves into high vibe, right? And high frequency. It's the body. And that the fastest way to allow yourself to evolve and ascend and shift into higher frequencies and move into a high vibe, you got to high vibe yourself, is to feel all the shit you don't want to feel. This is simply physics. It truly is just physics. It's just energy shifting from lower frequencies to higher frequencies. But because we live in a third dimensional world, we label everything. We stick everything in a box. We make things right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't, because we live in duality and polarity. And so we use those lenses to experience the energies in our bodies and what we're being asked to feel. So when you start to read the divine design, it puts you into a different state of awareness around what you're going through, and it pulls you out of deep, not only programming, okay, that there's something wrong with you, but a state of neutrality where you just start to allow yourself to experience and to feel and to have the human emotions, right? This isn't a bypass. This isn't a, oh my God, I need to positive think all the time. This is stuff starts to come up, anger, rage, sadness, anxiety, stress, whatever it is. And you're like, holy shit, I don't like this. I'm going to feel it through me. I don't like this. I'm going to feel it through me. This sucks, but I'm going to feel it through me, right? I'm remembering that I'm not this, and I'm going to feel it through me. Everything is an energetic movement through your body, right? You get to yell and scream and have temper tantrums, but don't bypass. Don't try to change what's happening. You're not in charge. You can't be in control of this. This is a natural process. This is energy naturally shifting. Do you understand this? Do you guys get this? This is a natural shift you're not in control of. And the more we can let go of controlling this evolutionary shift in consciousness within the physical body, the easier it becomes. The easier it becomes. I'm sad I didn't win a free session. I'm going to feel it through me. There you go. I'm angry I didn't win the free session. Fabulous. Welcome to anger. Feel it. The second you stop attaching yourself to the emotion you're feeling, the faster it moves through you. You're not the emotion. You're just feeling it. So what? You're experiencing it. It's intense. Trauma is intense. Grief is intense. Anger is intense. You know, when you look at how you're being in the world and you don't like it, that's intense. Everything's an opportunity. Everything's energy moving through your body. Right? So we have a couple more minutes. Does anybody have a question about the book? Thank you so much, Doc Vancouver, for buying the book on Kindle. Lots of love to you, my friend. Anyone have a question about the book, reading the book? So we let go and let the third world move us like cotton in the wind. Well, you're always moving through everything. So you're just experiencing, and then you're choosing. You're choosing how you want your canvas to look, how you want your reality to be, how you want to show up in the world. You're not just like willy-nilly, like flopping around. You're moving in a flow state, which means that you're allowing everything to be experienced and everything to be felt, everything to be seen, observed, and then you're choosing how you want to be in the world. The winners were Geeta Lalazari, Tasha McPhee, and then I picked one more, Debbie Perlman Ajluni. It's okay if you can't remember all of the trauma. Here's the thing, you guys, you don't need to go search for trauma. Imagine trauma as this big block of mud, and your job is not to go find it. Your job is to just feel what comes up all day long, every day, and your body will naturally show you what needs to be felt. You don't even need to be like, is this trauma? Is this associated to trauma? Is this a wound? Is this no, just if we stopped trying to dissect everything and we stopped trying to use our logical mind and thoughts and ego to unwrap everything and we just simply felt it, we would literally evolve or shift so much faster because we're not attached to labeling it. We're not attached to trying to figure it out. We're not attached to, is this trauma? When was the trauma? How long did the trauma last? Right? If you need to know that it's a specific trauma, you will show yourself. You will tell yourself. You're not stupid. It will be given to you. In the meantime, just feel. What's your opinion on hearing high-pitched ringing in the ears? I don't know. I think there's a couple different reasons for it. I think it depends on your body. I've been experiencing some once in a while. Yesterday it happened to me, or was it 2 days ago? I can't remember. And it was just this like, and I like went into this like weird vibrational tone. When it happens to me, what it feels like is that my body is recalibrating high frequency light. So it's just a recalibration that I'm feeling or hearing in my body. Any other questions? Yeah, it was really challenging to write this into 3D terms. The first 2 chapters have been a lot to absorb. Is that normal? Yes. It's been making people exhausted. They've been knocked out while they read it. They have to read it really slow. They read it and they go back. Many people have read this book and then gone right back to the beginning and read it again. Um, so it's not only is it complex and difficult, and I don't have any graphs, but I need somebody to draw graphs for me. So then in the next edition, it will have graphs so you can actually see what I'm talking about in the book. But not only is it kind of challenging at times to grasp, but there's energetic activations that are happening in your body. There are codes that are unraveling in your body as you read it. So your mind may get all like heavy and like, what? Your body could maybe get exhausted. You may get triggered. You may get annoyed, frustrated. You may feel super high frequency. You may break out into tears and start crying. There's all kinds of stuff that you experience when reading it. I'm on chapter 3 of the book. Does later on cover which of the states of consciousness we lose? So we can begin to identify shifting consciousness. No, it doesn't really. Well, I mean, no, it describes examples. Um, but what you'll start to notice in your own life is that you're going to step out. You'll just start to naturally know that you're moving into new states, different states. You'll stop controlling as much. You won't be in as much fear or anxiety or stress. You'll be in more of a flow state. You'll be less reactive and responsive, and more just present. You'll stop judging yourself as much. The judgments around you and what you're experiencing will lessen. You'll start to have more empathy and compassion for humanity, for yourself. You'll step out of victimhood, so that meaning you won't blame the external world for what you're experiencing. You'll step into more of an empowered state. Um, what else? You'll start to realize that you are safe to feel whatever it is that you're feeling and experiencing. You'll start recognizing that you're actually creating your own reality, right? All kinds of different things you start to watch and experience as you're shifting. I'm not familiar with Seth Speaks at all. Yeah, if I have a picture, if I could put some graphs in the books, it would really help a lot. I had lots of resistance to read your book, eagerly waiting for it and then hard to open. Is it normal? I have heard people, especially my Patreon, that have opened it and then shut it off, put the book away. So yes, very normal if there's resistance. This book will activate you. This book will awaken you into new states. This book will require you to sort of start to feel more in a beautiful way and in a very subtle way. It will activate deep memories that maybe you don't want to remember in other lifetimes. So be gentle with yourself. If you have a resistance to opening the book, don't open the book. Don't open it. If you're reading the book and you're getting frustrated, put the book down. Pick it up in another day, another month, another year. Doesn't matter. The book's going to be here forever. Trust what you're feeling. Don't push yourself through things. This is the history of what we've gone through for millions of years. And if you've had lifetimes that you don't want to remember, you may not want to pick up this book. This book doesn't talk about your specific lifetimes, but it will perhaps activate memories. And perhaps for some reason, your soul just doesn't want to remember right now. We've gone through a lot as a soul. Your soul has gone through a lot on the planet and off the planet. We have gone through the ringer to get humanity and the planet to where it is right now in terms of energy and consciousness. And many of you spent lifetime after lifetime assisting. And there's been a lot of experiences that you've had that maybe you don't want to remember as a soul. It's okay. Can a person ask themselves and know how much frequency of 5D they're currently holding? Maybe. I don't know. I've never asked myself. Probably. I'm sure the higher self knows what percentage you're holding. I wish there was a scale we could get on, although it's probably best that there isn't a scale because then we would be trying to control it, just like we control our weight. It's a horrible idea. Take that back. We don't want to control any of this. I flew through this book, cried, meditated, had much gratitude, stared into space, cuddled my animals, smiled brightly, and now I have to read it all again. Yay. I agree. Absolutely. What's your perspective on physical disabilities? I was born this way. Am I anchoring in more light or is it trauma? It's definitely not trauma, in my opinion. Physical disabilities are, in my opinion, a lot, not all physical disabilities, but a lot of physical disabilities are agreed upon prior to incarnating. Um, Typically, they are advanced souls that have chosen physical disabilities and mental disabilities, meaning they understood what they were coming into and they knew they could do it. It's very difficult to incarnate with a physical disability in this human life, in this human experience. It's like people that incarnate with physical disabilities and mental disabilities, my God, they deserve like 17,000 bows because their soul chose it, and it's it can make life more difficult for people, and also more miraculous, more amazing, more loving, more joyful. Um, so from my awareness or my understanding, they're very advanced souls that knew they could do it. And they are the teachers. They are the teachers. They are the advanced teachers that we forget about and we don't acknowledge. And if you have people in your life and family or friends that have physical disabilities, you know how powerful they are. those people, those humans. They're powerful, powerful teachers. Most of them are living in higher states of consciousness. They just may not be experiencing the same abilities as other human bodies. Glad you made it. There's no proof of any of this, Ruth. It's all energy. You can't prove anything in the physical reality unless it's physical. So the only way to prove anything in this third dimensional world is if it's physical. So just because this whole world is made up of energy, and it's very difficult to quote unquote prove energy, right? We don't have a lot of devices yet to prove energy, but the entire world is made of energy. The entire physical realm is made from energy. And so energy is not physical. And this third dimensional world exists in physicality, and science is based on physical proof. When you start moving into higher realms, higher energy, higher states of awareness and consciousness, higher ways of being, there is no physical proof. None. 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 Any other questions? Yeah, he's a humble master for sure. It's a knowingness, it's a resonance. Absolutely. Tasha, you won. We have to release trauma, but is trauma what pushes us seeking and finding the truth? Demetra, I don't know if trauma is what pushes us to find the truth. I think there's a deep knowingness within our soul that knows that this isn't everything. So we're always searching, we're always seeking, right? We're always trying to find the bigger purpose to life. It's like an innate knowingness. There's an innate knowingness within us that knows that this is not it. This is not the end all. This is not the answer. There's so much more. And so we're searching, and we don't really know why until we start remembering. And the external search is an illusion. It's all internal. What you are searching for externally can only be found internally. There is no external God. There is no external, force that's going to come and save you. In my opinion, you are that which you are seeking. You are the everything and nothing, the God, the source, the whatever you want to call it, consciousness, whatever. It's here. Any tips on how we can focus to remember more? Don't try to remember. Don't try to remember. Don't try to focus. What happens when we try to focus on something, okay? You are trying to control that which you're trying to get to. And so it's more of an egoic lens that's in charge. And so you want to let go of that egoic lens, and you want to move a lens back into the observer or the higher self, which is what's guiding you into the remembrance. And so the only way to get there is to let go of trying to focus, let go of trying to remember, right? The more we let go of trying to control, which is a very, like really small lens. It's like there's no wiggle room to actually experience so much more of what your higher self wants to show you. So it's very rigid when we're trying to focus. It's very rigid when we're trying to do something, right? So when you step back into a different lens, the higher self lens, the observer lens, it's like, oh, okay, I can just trust that I'm remembering. What if I am just remembering no matter what? And there's very little I have to do. It's just a natural process of remembering. I'm just going to keep remembering naturally. There's a letting go. There's a, Oh, okay, wait, right? It's not rigid and restrictive. Are there intergalactic battles happening right now? Yes. The reason that this book doesn't talk about race wars, it doesn't talk about intergalactic battles, it doesn't talk about all the different stuff that people talk about, if you go down those rabbit holes, is because none of that matters. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you remember what's going on here. What matters is that you remember who you are. What matters is that you remember what you're doing on this planet. That's what matters. And so what happens and what's happened for thousands of years, and very specifically the last couple of 100 years, and even more specifically the last 60, 70, 80 years, is we get so caught up in these stories of, oh my God, there's these galactic wars and there's this has been going on and these hybrid beings are doing this. And it's like all that does is pull you out of what you actually are here to remember, which is who you are and what you're doing on the planet. Those are all beautiful stories. They're very entertaining. Much of it is true, but it doesn't help you necessarily to navigate the human experience. So this book holds none of that information. It holds a chapter on hybridization, abduction, reptilians, and the humanoids, because that was a very powerful and pivotal moment on the earth plane when it brought us down into very low frequencies, catapulted us back down, which we are currently trying to pull ourselves out of and pulling ourselves out of. But getting caught up in all these, wars on Mars and intergalactic stuff and blah, like it's like, okay, so what? I'm still human. I'm still a consciousness in human body, trying to remember what I'm doing here, trying to elevate my own frequency and consciousness. And if I continue to get caught up in all these stories, I'm just literally pulling myself out of this presence, you know? You can turn it on and watch the movie every once in a while. But what's most important is the remembrance. That's what's most important. And then nothing really else matters. It's like when you turn on Netflix or a TV or something, right? You're like just looking at all the channels and you're like, wow, look at all the entertaining things. It's just a timeout, right? Many of us, the reason we watch TV, the reason we watch Netflix, the reason we watch movies is because it's a timeout. So just imagine when you watch everyone talking about, galactic wars and hybrid this and stuff happening on Mars, whatever the heck people are talking about, right? It's just a timeout. It's like, oh, that's entertaining. Get back to the actual experience of being the human and becoming multidimensional and dealing with your trauma and dealing with your shit and dealing with your emotions and dealing with your relationships, right? That's what's important. Truly, remembering what you're doing here. Will the lives on the chapters of the book next week be recorded? Yes, it'll be replayed. It'll just be stored. It'll be saved on YouTube. Waking up is so hard for me. Wherever I go when I sleep, I don't remember, but I don't want to leave. And all the senses overload within a second. Wild way to start my day. Yeah, it's intense when you remember that the dream state is really just another state of being. It's just a state of being that's in a higher frequency, so we don't remember it as much. But the more you start remembering it and then you wake up and you realize what you're in, you're like, "Oh, Jesus, I'm back on earth again. Shit, I gotta do this all over again every day." You wake up depressed or lethargic, anxious, nervous, because you had a reprieve in that dream state. All right, one more question and then I'm gonna go. Can we be in another life when we sleep? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. All your lifetimes are existing in the same now moment. It's just where you're putting your awareness and your consciousness. So if your soul or your etheric body leaves and checks out a different lifetime, yeah, you could be in that lifetime. I don't know much about sleep paralysis. Every morning is like Groundhog Day of worrying. Try to see yourself experiencing worrying instead of attaching to the worrying. And when you're in a state of worry, can you see that you're moving through it? A lot of times, one of the reasons that anxiety can really take hold, or worrying or stress can really take over us, is because we believe that we're anchored in it, like it's forever, it's permanent. So, what if you started reminding yourself that you're moving through the worry? You're moving through the stress. This is just me moving through it. Doesn't help necessarily in terms of like the intensity of the emotion, but it does help move you through it. Yeah, go get the book, Sonny. It's available on Amazon in all the different countries, and there's all kinds of links on my website for it. Gabrielle, we already chose the 3 names, and the way that you were able to submit your name is you emailed us with a screenshot of the Amazon review. All right, I think that's it, you guys. That is all. All right, one last time. The winners are Geeta Lalazari, Tasha McPhee, and Debbie Perlman Ajluni. We will be emailing you after this live. And again, if you have been reading the Divine Design, starting to read the Divine Design, read the Divine Design, or are going to be reading the Divine Design, I am doing a 7-day live series on YouTube starting tomorrow, Monday, the 29th. I'll be reading sections of the book. We'll kind of be going through the book, starting from how did we get here? Why are we here? To this physical evolution that we're in right now. And I'll be answering your questions about the book and anything else that comes up. So it's 2 p.m. California time on YouTube, starting Monday, ending on Sunday, September 4th. Okay, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for all of your support with the book. And also just thank you for being here at this time on the planet. It's no joke. It is a ride. It is a roller coaster ride. And we're not doing it alone, and we're here to remember. So the Divine Design helps us to really remember what we're doing. I love you. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with others. Mwah.